what your last line was? That, so all is well in God. Thank you. God is, we are, and therefore all must be exceedingly well. Can we say that together? God is, we are, and therefore all must be exceedingly well. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Mike. Look, I know that somebody's thinking, how could that be? Right now, there's a protest there's a protest going on the U.S. Capitol steps around the U.S. budget. And so here I stand declaring that all must be exceedingly well. You can look at me like I'm crazy, I don't care, because I know I'm not. I know I'm not. I know for sure, for absolute certain, that all is exceedingly well. Now, some of you, who has ever planted anything? Like a seed or a bulb so there's enough experience in here so that the critical mass is achieved, if you will. So look, when you plant it, it doesn't look like whatever it is that you're expecting to come up. There's a part of me that wants to say, don't play with me. When you plant it, it's a seed or a bulb that looks nothing like. Sometimes it can even be a sproutling. And it looks nothing like what you intend to have. And yet you know you don't look at it and then start crying. Like, I want cabbage. I want cucumber. But this isn't that. So I get that what we're experiencing can be crazy making. So, look. But there's an opportunity for us to treat it as our adventure in faith. And so on an adventure, I don't think it's an adventure if it's looking like exactly what it is. That's just a thing. That's just you out there in a situation. If it's an adventure, it has your attention. That's a different kind of, the adventure energy is a little different. Your eyes are a little open, you're paying attention, whatever it is. Is this true or am I just making this up? Yeah. So look, there's this energy of an adventure. I am suggesting that we are on an adventure in faith. Now, what I love about that as a metaphor, as an idea, as a context for what's up, is that it means you got to do something. You're going to have to, in the vernacular, bring something. If it's an adventure in faith, the adventure aspect of it is not a kickback moment. Adventure is not where you let it happen, it's where you get into it. What is mine to be? What is mine to do? How am I to be in this? Yes? You know what? I didn't come up here to do this. I am just impassioned. I am literally impassioned. What I came to do is to begin by acknowledging that last Sunday, we had one heck of a resurrection Sunday. Some of us were literally resurrected. Yes, uplifted. We are risen from an old idea and hopefully an old way of being, an old way of doing, which of course translates to an old way of having as well. So the shift is on. And so I want to thank you, Reverend Angelo. My heartfelt thanks to you, Reverend Angelo, and to Dr. Will for the presentation last week, for their earnestness in all of this. I'm just grateful for the way that it all unfolded. And I also have thanks. I'm trying to move this along. There we go. I also want to acknowledge Sharon Henderson and Reflections, and especially lift up the Heart and Soul Ensemble. Yeah, yeah. I don't think I'd be saying too much if I said to you that we are working on having that be a regular experience for us with the ensemble and then moving from there. But I want to acknowledge that because everything that happens up here, you know, there's the backstory. There's what it took behind the scenes. And I just want to lift up Tyrone Cozy and Valerie Joy Fidmont, who facilitated the rehearsals for the ensemble, and Brannis McKenzie also, who stepped up and showed out, because in truth, Brannis McKenzie initiated, founded, started the breathed life into our ensemble. So I am so grateful for the support that happened. I also want to call attention. Ron, thank you for lifting up the things that are coming up. But in particular, I wanted to share with you that our longtime Heart and Soul member, Gina Breedlove, a doula. Let me say this. Gina is with us on Saturday, May 10th in the afternoon. What is it? It's from 12:30 to 4. And what Gina brings us is a depth. Period, full stop. There is in her spiritual practice and what she creates and includes forever for others, for all of us, there is a certain depth, a call to the deep divine. So I am suggesting, I'm imploring, I'm telling y'all to get in here. We've set the price for $20 because I want everyone to be able, I don't want the price on it to be an issue. So come and be a part of this. Look, this is a healing circle process around grief. And that's all manner of grief. And can I just tell you, we's in grief? Even now, there is so much that we are grieving in our lives. And so this is an opportunity. Grief isn't just associated with, for example, the death of a loved one, but some of us have been through that and are going through it. Some of us are in the process. We are shepherding. We are midwifing, if you will, someone who may be going through that. And so this is for us. But there's also just the way life is coming at us. We are experiencing grief in ways that we haven't. Other generations have. But we kind of skated for a while. We were out there like, yeah, and then wham. And so I'm going to encourage us, insist that we take care of ourselves so that we are safe to be around in the world. Do you understand if I say it that way? If we aren't taking care of ourselves, we are really putting ourselves and others at risk. It may not make sense right now, but think about it. And I encourage you to be here with us on Saturday, May 10th. Begins at 12:30. Will be done by 4. It's in person only. I apologize because I know y'all hang. And in fact, y'all are there's some, we have some fair weather folks who have joined you today. But y'all stay with us and show up and support, and I appreciate that. This is the kind of event, though, that we really cannot do a hybrid version of it. So my apologies, but we're going to be handling it right here. Yes, forgive us, please, and please, I beg your understanding around that. On the next day, on Sunday, Mother's Day, Brother Ishmael Tete. will be with us. And he's he's Heart and Soul family as well. And so he'll be with us just working it out. He'll have books, etc. Be with us on Sunday, May 11th as well. There's so much, let me just say, for which I am grateful. And I'm sure part of that is that I have a gratitude practice. But let me just say that stuff is popping off in a way that I am having like a gratitude party all the time. And I know it's part of paving the way, laying a foundation. Right now, though, I am grateful for our leadership circle. The Heart and Soul Leadership Council and our Ignite Circle is absolutely thrilled to be acknowledging this Sunday, today, in just a moment. What we're up to is that at the beginning of Heart and Soul, and for a few years in, we were regularly honoring, recognizing folks who were in there doing the work. And then I'm not sure what happened. I kind of feel like we just got busy doing the do. And so we haven't done that for a while in the way that we want to. So what we've committed to is that every quarter we are going to make a selection. Now, the interesting thing, select an individual in sacred service that we will lift up. Now, the interesting thing for me in that is that the very first one is always a tough choice. Because you got all the folks who've been doing the do, y'all understand doing the do. Yeah, okay, all right. So we have all of the folks who are ingrained in, just up to everything that needs to be done. And so it's it's not an eeny, meeny, miny, mo. We really had to look at this very deeply to see how would we present the very first person. And so part of what we were considering is that we have set a certain criteria period that's existed for members and then a criteria also for leadership. And so we have this notion that when folks are members of Heart and Soul, that they are, first of all, that they have completed our path to membership experience. So they've gone through the basic process to understand who we are and what we are up to, and that they are active, loyal, and supporting of Heart and Soul in their connection and in their identification as members. Does that make sense? That our name is safe in their mouth. That the way they are about Heart and Soul is supportive and encouraging, frankly. Then we have this sense that our members would be engaged. And this notion of engagement is about having committed to engage in our Sunday services, to participate in classes and workshops and activities and events. The short of it is to show up and be a part of it. And that these members are also actively engaged in contributing their time, their talent, and their treasure. There's also this notion of being invested. So our sense is that invested members are consistent in their contributions, in contributing and investing their time, their talent, and their treasure, and their participation and engagement with Heart and Soul. That they express their commitment to their Heart and Soul community through their active participation in sacred service. Now, sacred service is the engine of Heart and Soul. It's a volunteer setup for the most part. We have a few folks on staff, but largely what happens at Heart and Soul is out of the generous nature of those who say, I'll help with that. Let me handle that. Can I help? Let's put a team together. I'll be a part of the team, whatever that is. And at the investment level, they are often in leadership as well. And in this way, they support our short and long-term projects, and vision. So today, I am honored to present our very first honoree in this way. I want you to know that Heart and Soul celebrates Pamela Grimm, an active, engaged, and invested Heart and Soul member since 2009. So, come on, Pam. So while she's coming up, I want to tell you that, well, it's up here on the screen. It's on the screen so y'all can see what come on, girl. You can see what she's up to. Pam, what I want you to know, you're up to a bunch of stuff, bullet points up there. What I want to acknowledge specifically is not just that you did that, it's how you do it. It's the energy that you bring to that. It's the openness. Pam will acknowledge that a lot of this, when she volunteered, she didn't know how to do that. And so she was, see, this is the, can I poke you? Yeah. It's the willingness. It's your willingness to show up and help, support, contribute, even if you don't know how. See, you brought the heart and the intention, and that's what makes, continues to make the difference. And look, that's how she started. I think it would have been with projection. With projection, not knowing how, but knowing we needed support and being willing. So now she, of course, does that and has moved on. So now she's in the production chair. Now, when you start doing that, did you know how to do that?
No, but you thought I did.
Yes, because I'm glad she said that. Why do you think I thought she could? Not that she would know exactly how to do it. I see in her a learner. And someone who's not afraid to make a mistake. See, some of y'all won't, we ask for help and you're like, but I don't know what I could help with. Just step up and begin the process. Pam, I'm so grateful for you. So grateful. So look, we have a certificate for Pam that says, the Leadership Council and the Ignite Leadership, on behalf of Heart and Soul members, extend our heartfelt gratitude and appreciation to you, Pamela Grimm, in recognition of your active engagement and investment. Heart and Soul proudly recognizes you as our 2025 Q1 Sacred Service Volunteer. And it's signed by the president of our Leadership Council, Sheila Lewis, and me as the founding and senior minister. So thank you for that, beloved. Thank you. And before you go, there's more.
And there's more.
There's more. And so there's a little gift for you from our heart to yours. And so they want to know what it is. Let me just tell you. So you could either tell them now or you could spend all your time later showing it to them.
Oh, look at the logo. Oh.
It is special, isn't it? Can y'all see that? It has our Heart and Soul heart on it. And so it's intended to just represent that we can't do it without you. But you stepped up. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pamela Grimm. So look, just imagine if everyone who has a connection with Heart and Soul, everyone who cares about Heart and Soul, leans in, imagine if we all showed up similarly, willing to help, willing to learn, willing to be. Imagine, just imagine. Takia Franklin and Mike Blankenship. Yes.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living a life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer. Well, I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer. Well, I know I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll come along and join us, and the world will be as one.
That's Takia Franklin and Mike Blankenship. Thank you. John Lennon, you better ask somebody. Look, you may say that I'm a dreamer. You may think that you're a dreamer. But we're not the only ones. Look, I have a sense that our experience in COVID, sheltering in place, just all of it, being in grief, having all of the changes, that a part of that, a part of what has happened and was happening kind of within, tucked within you, you know those little eggs that you can find that are Asian inspired, that you just keep opening them and there's another one and another one. I have a sense that we've been going through that. That it's like we keep trying to get to the sweet spot. And what we keep coming up against is how it seems to be, the perception of it, and how awful it feels and how difficult it is. And so a part of that has left us with a feeling that we're the only one. Now, the truth is we run into people all the time who are like, yes. And yet we still have that dare I say, a little emptiness, so that it still feels like we're the only one. I have a sense. Nah, that's not what I'm here to do. Okay. Look. Here it is. In order to be where we are right now, this is us peeking around to see how life got to be the way it is. That it required a very specific trajectory. Oh, by the way, this is the lifeline right here. This is the lifeline. So let's say that this is right now, this place right here. In order to be here, there's a very specific trajectory, very specific thoughts, very specific beliefs, very specific actions, very specific engagements were required in order to get here. Okay, thank you. That's what I'm looking for. We's all in this together. Yes. Okay, so look. At some point along this trajectory, come on, Mother Harriet, help us get this, because she knows something about this. Look, there can be an awakening that changes everything. Y'all don't understand. Okay, yeah? Okay, look. So you're moving along, and maybe you're disappointed that that the promotion didn't come, the acceptance didn't come. That's a certain energy. Absent that energy, you're in a different timeline. If that had still happened and you said, whatever, because, I know who I am, and I know what I'm doing, and so I'm going to go on to the next, then you're now on a different line. But if you're here and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to stop here and have a pity party, because it's deserved. And everybody you know agrees with you. When you come out of the interview and you call them, and they all go, what? How could that happen to you? Rather than, girl, this means that something else is unfolding. This lets you know to go, what was said? Let's break it down. Let's see if there's any learning in here that prepares you for the next thing. But instead, they want to say, let me bring drinks to the pity party. Can you see the difference in the trajectory of how it's going to work? So in order for us to be, this is the collective of us, in order for the collective of us to be in the collective experience that we are, we must have a very specific trajectory. Oh, now you're going to quit on me. When it was my life and it was her trying to get the job, you was all with me. Now that it's us. Because this is us. We're in this, which means we believed our way here. Come on. We believed we thunk our way to this. And then we believed our thinking. And then we began to act in ways that we could only act if we believed that mess. Yes? And so, here we are. Here, voila, exactly. Here we are in what we called forth. Now, remember what I said. So you're in this moment where you go, Lord, it's me. You mean it's me? It's not them? Because I had picked out a whole group of thems that I could hold responsible for where we are. But in truth, you mean it's me and my thinking, our collective thinking, race thought, as it were. Race, not racial. Human thought at its lowest vibration is what we call race thought. Yes? So now we have a choice, don't we? We can be depressed. We can really work the downward spiral of the realization that my fingerprints are on this mess. Or we can begin the upward spiral of what is mine to be and to do so that we can have a different outcome. Now, it's words right now, so it can sound, for some, it can sound very simple. And it is. It's just not easy. Because it's going to require, it does require every bit of our focus on our highest and best. It would be as if we were deciding that we are going to be on a group detox and diet. We're going to detox, we're going to fast, and our fast may look like juicing, and then we're going, it's a whole plan that we're going to do for our highest and best. Now, I know I turned a bunch of people off just by the detox part long before I got to the fasting. And the fact that I might be going to talk about veganism or something, I'm simply using it as a metaphor. Do not get carried away, although it could be wise for a bunch of us. But I'm not going there because I'm already on thin ice probably. Or will be soon. So look, we're going to use that as our metaphor for the transformation of our lives, the health and well-being of our living. The point I want to make is that it's going to require that you make a change. This is where I should have like bodyguards or something up here. They ought to just spread right out and be like, you can't get to her. It will require a change. It will begin with you changing your mind, moving it out of what tends to be a rut of thinking. Now, it's not a rut that somebody else dug for you and you're now in it and you're a victim. It's a rut that we created for ourselves by the continuous, repetitive thinking of a certain ilk. For any of us who would offer up, there's nothing that I can do, I'm going to need you to stop that. And kind of pull that back in like folks used to say a while back, cancel that. Just cancel that thought. Because your thinking has a collective impact. Your thinking is not just your thinking. Your thinking is not just impacting your life. Your thinking is a part of the collective whole and is often influencing other thoughts of like kind. And the way that nasty thoughts can multiply, I'm just saying. So look, the idea here is for us to up-level our game. And I feel like that what I want to do, somebody a long time ago called me serial preacher. Thank you. And at the time, I was feeling some kind of way, like, what'd that mean? And now I'm like, yeah, pretty much. So look, I'm tagging back to when last I spoke here, where we were talking about both the audacity to hope and the audacity of hope. Some of y'all were there and remember, yes? So we know that, that Reverend Dr. Jeremiah Wright, who was President Barack Obama, or Senator Barack Obama's minister at the time, did a talk that included that idea of the audacity to hope. And I kind of want to meet you there a little bit but I'm also want to take you to, and then President Obama's book is entitled The Audacity of Hope. And both things are active, but I want us to get in the pool and splash around a little bit around these ideas, especially in the context of we are on an adventure in faith. And I'm saying it, I'm wanting to tie these ideas together because I want to empower you to have the audacity to hope. To hope. At the top of the service. Thank you for everything. I have no complaint whatsoever. Have y'all lost your minds? With the world as it is? Heck yeah, that's what we're affirming. Because when has complaining been the solution? It's a powerless place. Just complaining, I'm just going to talk about it. Rather than, how am I going to be in this? Thank you. I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to be grateful what? I'm still standing. I'm going to be grateful that whatever it is that's happening, I have my right mind or a reasonable portion of it. Well, you know, and I don't want to overspeak it for anybody. You know? But so there's something. The fact that I can speak of it, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that it didn't take me out. Because that's not true for everyone. We all have not demonstrated equal resilience. And so if you have a modicum of resilience, thank you. Thank you. I have no complaint. Not that I couldn't join in the chorus of complaints. I have sense enough to know that that's not going to increase my game. And by the way, what we're playing is game increasing. We are working to increase and up, meaning up level our game. Translation, live our highest and best life. That's what increasing our game is. Living our highest and best life, I know that there is no chapter in the book of how to do that on how to complain better than anybody else. There's not a chapter on complaint. And the reason is because it's not beneficial to the upward motion of your life that you desire. Yes? So this is why I'm using that metaphor of the detox and maybe the fast and then whatever it is we would do, because there's some changes we're going to have to make. We have to change the way we think about it. What does this mean, this thing that's happening here? What does this mean? It means that whatever I do now is going to impact where I'm going. And so much so it may change it entirely. The mission that I think I'm on, if I mess around and get carried away and complaining and reacting to the stuff, I may never get there. Because what? I'm creating a whole other universe from within. You know, this is where we're talking about from the inside out is how we really are creating our experience. So if I get carried away over here, let me tell you what happens. That little carry away leads to something else. And that little something else is something else. You now see something you never would have seen had you kept going. But having seen it, you now think about it. Having thought about it, you now make some decisions about it, what you believe about it. You believe in it, you're now in a whole other trajectory. You're building a whole other future from here. Can you see it in your mind's eye? I'm highly visual. Is there something else I need to do to paint the picture? Of you at that crossroad where what you think and what you choose out of that thinking makes all the difference in the world. It paves the way for you. And the challenge is it's largely invisible to the human eye. We can be there and be thinking, I'm doing what I ought to be doing. You don't know how it was for me. Ask me how I know. I know I'm up here on mic and it looks like mountaintop teaching. It is not. So often it's from the valley, me hollering out, throw me a rope, a stick, something. Because I fell and I'm not clear I can get up. I'm believing I can, but so far I'm just kind of in it and just repeating the same thing. There's a way that we have to get in our lives, and it's like moving from eating whatever doesn't move to detoxing, metaphorically. Can you see that that's like a huge shift from just, yeah, what you got, I'll have that, to I am on a very specific program. I am only indulging, I'm only consuming what is recommended for my situation and my circumstances. Likewise, on this thought diet that I'm passing out. Yes, that we're only permitting ourselves to think certain ways. There's a lot that's going on, and any of it could trip us up. And once tripped, oh, no. So the idea would be to fortify ourselves, yes? Okay. Fortification coming. So look, our intention is to engage hope as a bold spiritual practice. President Barack Obama, senator at the time, wrote, hope in the face of difficulty, hope in the face of uncertainty, the audacity of hope. In the end, that is God's greatest gift to us, he says, a belief in things not seen. Oh, that's an advanced course, because most of us are focused on what we can see. And if you can see it, it's after whiz. Y'all know what after whiz is? Look, thank you for those of you who acknowledge you don't know that. So here's the thing. In the game of bid whiz, often what will happen, it's a card game, and because I'm like in it right now. So look, so the card game takes place, and whoever had the bid to say, the bid is the contract, if you will, would be in bridge, to say, here's what I think I can make out of the hand that I have. And after the game is played and all the books are collected and the people have been paid and all that, there are always those of us who have a story. If you had only played the two of diamonds, I coulda, you see what I'm saying? That's after whiz. It's the shoulda, woulda, coulda as a game. It's the idea that I know something now that I didn't know then. And if I'd known that then, I would have behaved differently. So it's a powerful understanding. I just don't want us wasting it on bid whiz. I think if we brought that into life some, to say, oh, I can learn from this. You see, if I had brought, and then not just to talk about it, but then to begin to move in ways that bring that into my experience. Is this making sense? To begin to take that little kernel of, oh, wait, I saw what just happened. I saw how they did not accept my application. I see now what I need to do. See, this is what, let me just say, I see you, Mama, right over there on the table, on our ancestor table. My mother, who born and raised in Texas and came to California in about 46, I think. 46, 47, came to California to be with my dad. And and then later they married, etc. So look, when she was going to go to work, she told me the story that when she was interviewing and they said, well, and I'm not suggesting y'all do this, but I want you to see the inspiration in it. They asked her, could she do thus and such? It was a little task that would be part of it. And she said, I can do that. Meaning, by the time you bring me in here to do it, I'm going to know how to do that. Because the truth was, not right now. But when you see me next, I'm going to know how to do that. And so when she left there, she got busy calling to see who she knew who knew somebody who knew how to do that. And sure enough, hooked up with the one who knew how to do it. And when she returned, she knew how to do that. See, the picture I'm trying to paint is not that you need to be in the interview making stuff up. But you need to pay attention to what are you being called to? And how can you step up? See, for some of us, we're like, no, I can't do that either. Really, are you sure you can't, or you just don't know how right now? Pam, you need to tell them, baby. Is it that you can't do it, or is it that you just don't know how yet? Can you feel the difference in that energy? In what the world is calling us to for our highest and best is not a status quo action. It's not everybody report on what you already did and what you think you can and cannot do. That's not what's required now. Sometimes I feel like I need to call certain people right up to the front row. You know what I mean? So I can be close and personal with them. And part of that is this idea that those of you who already get it, we want to fan the flame on it. We want to spread it around so that others understand it. Because Mother Harriet, y'all understand it. That's why she's in our sanctuary. Because she got the goods. She knew how. It wasn't that she was a professional enslaved escapee. The first time she left, how did she know GPS? No. How did she know? Do you have any idea the size of these plantations? It's not like leaving my house and going somewhere. Because when you step down my porch, you're on somebody else's property, just about. But on these plantations, you could be walking for a good while just to get out of the sphere of that specific enslavement to move into a broader experience of enslavement, to places you've never been before. Oh, I'm trying to say something, y'all. That there is an opportunity when we trust it. Come on, Pam. When we trust it, you say, well, maybe I can do it. But see, it all has to go together. You can't just, maybe I can do it. It has to include and so we're about to see, because I'm going to step into the fullness of the possibility of the presence of God manifesting, expressing as me. Because I'm always confining it, always. Always. And that's not a bad thing, it's the human thing. Because it's infinite. You're finite in the physical expression. So the key is to get connected to the infinite possibility and what? Yes. And step into that, to rise into it. Mostly, yes. And what does it require? The audacity to hope. To hope. To begin with. Yes. Oh, so look. Hebrews 11:1. I've been looking at these different translations, King James Version, the Christian Standard Bible. However, I have to say the Aramaic Bible in plain English, that's usually my favorite translation. It resonates most for me. So that, although all three are on your screen, I'm going to rock with this one. Now, faith is the conviction. Conviction says a little something, doesn't it? What is conviction saying to you? Somebody. Say it again. Attitude, strength of mind, and focus. It says you bring in something. Yes, you're in it. Yes, I love that. So it begins with, now faith has me all up in it with a certain charge. Yes. Concerning those things that are in hope. Oh, y'all don't get it. Do you? You just focused. Okay, all right. Sometimes I can't interpret the focus face. So look, you are deep in your commitment to, your interest in, your certainty about those things that are in hope. That can change it, can't it? Well, it does for me. Changes it for me because otherwise hope can feel a little mamsy-pamsy. It's not feeling like there's a lot of strength in hope. I'm just hoping. But you got to start where you are. So the thing that you're hoping about, when you get the conviction so that you have faith about that, here's where the action happens. It says in this translation, as if it were these things in action. So so far you're just hoping, but you have a conviction about what you're hoping for. And the way that you're doing it very specifically, according to this translation, is thinking about it, embracing it as if these things in action. And the revelation of those things that are unseen. So look, if you don't have to mess around with, like you don't have to study it. Bottom line, you don't have to see it to believe it. And the moment you believe it, something else is happening. It's like that's your secret power, is belief. And when you believe, it begins to change it. Try it and see. Try it and see. Don't believe me. Watch, but you got to watch very carefully. This is going to be a call to really paying attention. This is increasing your powers of perception and discernment. To try it and see is to notice how when you start believing a thing, when you start believing a thing about Social Security, when you start believing a thing about what's happening in the world, when you start just believing that, watch how it begins to change for you. Because your belief system is also a filtering system. And once you start believing that, it may be a while before you hear anything unlike that. The universe is dang near magical in that way. Once you set your belief is magnetic and will draw to you beliefs like that. Beliefs that can coexist with your belief. And sometimes when we take a look, this powers of perception and discernment. When we look out there and say, now, let me just see, what am I believing? Oh, God. You're like, that's what I'm believing? I got to stop that because I don't want that in my life. That's not what I want for the children. It's not what I want for the elders. It's just not what I want. And so I'm going to have to believe something else, something that's more aligned with my vision, with my prayers. And I'm going to, see, in order to do that, you got to bring what? The audacity. The audacity to hope. Yes? All right, look. Okay, well, I got to do this. Look, in the theology of hope, Jürgen Moltmann says, to reinvent your own country, you need a great audacity of hope. I'm just going to drop that no. Just because I read what he said. Yes? See, because it's telling us that this is going to be more than us complaining over coffee and everybody hatching their own. You're going to have to bring an audacity for a higher vision. Yes? Okay, I'm trying to lay it out here. So look, thank you, Takia and John Lennon, because look, you may say that I'm a dreamer. And I already said, but I'm not the only one. Look here, Howard Thurman says a dream is the bearer of a new possibility, the enlarged horizon, the great hope. Desmond Tutu Bishop Desmond Tutu says, hope is being able to see that there is light despite all the darkness. Now see, you're going to have to go somewhere, do something, be somebody in order to see the light in the darkness. But you'll never get there if you don't start practicing now. Y'all know sometimes you got to practice in order to actually do the thing. I know that's not commonly spoken highly of, this notion of preparation and practice. But I'm calling you to it. Because I know there's something about, well, I can just do it. Not today, please. Let's set up a certain foundation of practice and preparation. Let's set an intention. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. says, we must accept finite disappointment. Now, you may or may not agree. It doesn't matter because I'm looking for the next line. But never lose infinite hope. See, I don't really know about the accepting finite disappointment and all that. But maybe you accept it so you can get on with it. So let's do that. Yes. Go on, Dr. King. You're right. We must accept finite disappointment so we can move on and never lose infinite hope. So what I'm wanting to share with you is there's some ideas out here when we're looking for, well, I got some beliefs that are not serving me. Riff, what can I put in their place? I'm trying to give you some stuff that you can use. This is some good stuff. Get you some affirmations. Get you some song lyrics. Yes? All of that. See what it is that when you say it, you can feel the vibration increase. The divine intentionality expand. That's what you want, but you got to pay attention. You're going to have to hone your perceptions and discernment skills, yes? In order to really get here. You're going to have to know that no matter how bad it is right now, there are better days ahead. Look, Barker and Holmes, Reverend Dr. Raymond Charles Barker and Ernest Holmes say, hope rises within me and sings a song of joy. Now, I put this in here because I have fun with this one. Now, I don't do this daily, but let there be a moment when I'm not so clear. This gives me some clarity. Y'all don't, okay, this is how you do that. This is not pretending. I'm not inviting you to be in denial. I was in Egypt in the fall. Beautiful river. This ain't that. Look, the idea is that there's going to be some rough roads. We're going to fall down. This is what I told you that as in high school, I took judo. The first 59,000 lessons and activities were falling down. They taught us how to throw ourselves on the ground, just like this. Bam, you'd hit the mat. Bam, and the whole activity for a good while would be, why? Because you're going to be doing a lot of that. And it became a metaphor for me. Then I didn't like it. But I was like, I get it. Because I need to learn how to fall. Why? Because all of these first challenges are going to include me falling. Or literally being thrown is what it amounted to. But it was all of that. So in life, know that you're going to fall. Get good at getting up. Build that, yeah, baby, get that all right. So you can get yourself up. Why? Because you're going down. No offense to anybody who was thinking they would just stay. No, you're going down. At some point, you're going to slip and fall. You want to get good at getting yourself back up. And you decide with how much grace you want to do that. But the goal will be to just get up. Yes? Okay, so that's what we're working with. Hope rises within me and sings a song of joy. I never make it past that part because that gets good to me. Hope rising in me. And I'm a visual person, so I'm like, yeah, I feel, rising, and sing a song of joy. Not on mic, mind you, but a song of joy nonetheless. Oh, absolutely. He says some other stuff, but let me just leave you with this notion of allowing hope, that you have the audacity to allow hope to rise within you such that it brings out in you a song of joy. Let's write a song about that. That idea of something happening in us at such a level that it transforms our experience. From despair to joy and singing about it. This is good stuff. I don't know about y'all. Look, June Jordan, Alice Walker both sang, "We are the ones we've been waiting for." So look, let me see if this is, Obama says this, "Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time." It's not a waiting game. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. And so look, cue empowering vocalist Major. I don't know if y'all know his work, but I just want to tell you, share this quote with you. He says, "Hope is not the denial of reality. It's the commitment." See how that word keeps showing up in different ways of saying it? It's the commitment to believe greater is on the other side of it. See, what this talk is about is not getting stopped. Stuff is happening and will happen, and some of it's going to happen to you. Don't let it stop you, though. Don't let it blow your whole game. Have it transform your game for the better. We're going to work with this. So look, I need to share just a little bit about Major. So a good while ago, a Yahoo, the platform, Yahoo music critic wrote this: "There's a void of positivity and motivation in mainstream music, and Major is filling that void." See, I think we can all fill it. In life, mainstream music and whatever you do, whatever he does, whatever she does, whatever they do, all of that, yes? So he called Major the hope dealer. And Major said, "Yeah, I like that. The hope dealer, I love that. He has the audacity to live hope." So I'm going to play we have a video where he talks about the origin story, the backstory, if you will, for a song he has out, "I Prayed for You." And I want you to get this notion that each and every one of us can be a hope dealer, can have the audacity to be so ingrained in, so fierce in our awareness of hope and how we get to it, that it's transformative. We have that?
He wrote that, there's a void of positivity and motivation in mainstream music. And he said Major is filling that void. He says he's the hope dealer. And I said, I like that.
Yes.
Hope dealer.
I love
And
that.
yeah, so I've leaned in. Yeah.
You've leaned into hope dealer, which makes you live up to your mom's dream.
Absolutely.
Of making a major impact on the world and bringing something positive to the world. Your song,
which one?
I Prayed for You.
Okay, yeah.
I prayed. She said, which one?
Yeah, which one? Because, the one that a lot of y'all know. This is what? I can't do all of it because we didn't pay for that yet. You know what I mean? But
No, I mean, you're here to perform I Prayed for You,
yes.
And you have never revealed publicly the origin story of that. Because, when I see Major and I've seen him perform, I've seen him out and about, you always exude this joy, this laughter. And when I was reading the origin of this song, you were on a group chat with friends.
Yes.
One of those friends, Chadwick Boseman.
yeah.
And on that, he texted you April 2020,
Yeah.
just a few months before he passed away, and he started the message off asking the group chat, "I'm asking those of you who have enough faith to pray and meditate on the healing of the whole planet.
Yeah.
That was his text message to you in the group.
Yeah.
He was referring to the fact that we were in a global pandemic. That text message goes on to say, pray that those that suffer experience the showering of our faith if they have lost it.
Yeah.
Now, this was a group chat.
Yeah, group text, and I can't stand group text.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Especially when an Android decides to join the conversation. No, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Because we iPhones, we can, if it gets too reckless, you can leave the conversation. Android jump in, you're stuck. But this time, I had no other choice because we were stuck at home. And Chadwick doesn't send out messages often, and I'm like, he's sending this message. It was April 4th, 2020. A few days ago, that would be the 5-year anniversary of that moment. But he said, let's pray for the hope of the world. He says, the plague was asked why it had killed so many. The plague responded, I only killed 100. The thousands that died from the fear of me. It's hope. Hope is the key. And in that moment, I was grateful to have a bond with Chadwick as a big brother. Shout out to Logan and Candace who invited me into their space. But he had the audacity to hope for the world when he had every right to focus on his own circumstance. That's how powerful hope is. Yeah.
He says Chadwick Boseman had the audacity to pray for the world, to have hope for the world to change. And I love the way that Major says it, when he could have just focused on, he had enough to be concerned about, we know. Look, I want to share something else that Major wrote. He said, what if I told you hope was the key? Would you believe me? Well, you should. Because hope is not only the key, it's the major key. He writes, see what I did there? He said, nah, but for real, contrary to popular belief, hope isn't pretending your current struggle ain't real. It's actually a brave champion mindset and posture to take in the midst of it all. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Hope is not the denial of reality. It's commitment. It's a commitment to believe greater is on the other side of it. So you can either choose to be dragged along by the hardship of your current circumstances, look at your lifeline right now, into things finally working out, or you can commit your mind to knowing that if you simply get through this, you'll eventually walk into all things being well in due season. Brighter days are coming, and there is a light at the end of this tunnel. Reverend Jesse Jackson's been saying it for years. Keep hope alive. And beautiful people, that right there is the major key. Hope, he says, is a powerful thing. So look, y'all, there is this notion that I want to make sure I leave you with. This awareness that I acknowledge, come on, Mother Harriet, we have to acknowledge that stuff is happening in people's lives. It is, some people are feeling like they're up to here. I invite you to allow it to fade into God. To allow it to, see, sometimes what's really happening is that we're holding on to whatever it is. We're holding, it's almost like a badge of honor with how painful, how difficult life is, whatever it is for you. I'm not saying that that's how you're wearing it. I'm simply saying that Ricky Byers wrote a song about it. Here it go. She said, in my pain, there inside my weakness is the seed of something greater in me. And the shame of not choosing higher and all the disappointing moments fade into God. No mistakes have been made in God. All the ways that we seem to fail in God, all fades into God. It all fades into God. Takia Franklin and Mike Blankenship.
inside my weakness is the seed of something greater in me, and the shame of not choosing higher and all the disappointing moments fade into God, and no mistakes have been made in God. All the ways that we seem to fail in God all fade. It all fades into God. No choice, a prisoner of anguish in a jail of I'm so lonely, a jail of all is lost, but the stars are shining to remind us the seed will need the darkness to change into new life, and no mistakes have been made in God. All the ways that we seem to fail in God all fades. It all fades into God. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. In God is the gravity that holds me together. In God is the orbit in which I am spinning. I see the stars and I remember to remember inside my pain is the seed of my strength. In God is the gravity that holds me together. In God is the orbit in which I am spinning. I see the stars and I remember to remember inside my pain is the seed of my strength. God is my life. In God is such excellence. All the ways that we seem to fail in God all fades. It all fades into God, and no mistakes have been made in God. All the ways that we seem to fail in God all fade. It all fades in to God.